Welcome to Creative Type Podcast. This is episode 29, How We Start Off a New Year. I'm Lori Rivera.
And I'm Jaime Haney.
And welcome once again to Creative Type Podcast.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you.
We're recording this on January 1st.
That's right. New Year's Day. 2024.
So, yeah, it's hard to believe another year went by. Wow, they fly by, don't they?
Yes, they do. Very fast. They
get
faster as we get older.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it wasn't too bad until I hit 40. When I hit 40, then, things just fly by now.
I don't know if I noticed a date or an age, but
yeah, well, not exactly 40, but around there.
Yeah,
around my early 40s or something, but yeah. What'd you do for the new year?
Oh, we hung out with some friends, went and played a game called Mexican Train, and my son and his girlfriend joined us, and there was about 12 of us, and we just played games all night, and then after the new year, we were pretty much finished, and we all left. That was it. It was fun. We had a lot of food and drinks, and it was fun. It was a good time with good friends. So what did you do, Lori?
Well, my brother and his husband were in town. They leave tomorrow. They're still in town. And we went. My dad went also. Mike didn't go. He doesn't drink or anything. We just had a couple drinks down at Fidel's. We went to Fidel's, and we went to Myriad Brewing Company. And, yeah, that's all we did, really. Just had a few drinks. And then after that, we came home. Mike and Autumn and I did. And
some bar hopping, huh?
I rang in the new year with Mike and Autumn at home. So, yeah.
Good.
And I painted a little bit last night, too.
Oh, dang, look at you, girl.
So I ended the year with 2 new paintings, little abstract.
Wow. Hey, that's great.
So I wanted to get 2 more in, and I did. So, yeah, but that's about it.
Well, it sounds like you had a pretty full day.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I normally don't drink. I never drink, really. I drink like maybe once a year, maybe twice. Really? And when I do, I have like 1 or 2 drinks. That's it.
Yeah. I'm not a big drinker either.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, just with some friends or something. Yeah. It's not worth the hot flashes to me now.
Oh, yeah, right.
Nope, not worth it. All right, well, let's get this started.
Yeah.
How we start off a new year. So I want to start because the very first thing I do on January 1st is go out and I take a picture of my odometer reading in my car. And this is for taxes. So I've been doing this for years because, I can write it down and I will lose that. So having a photo, and I put it in a folder in my photos called Art Business. And I keep art business related stuff that I've snapped photos of, and I keep it in there. So I know it's there. I've done it enough years so where I can go right to it.
Yeah.
So that's one of my best tips that I give people is do that the very first of the year.
Yeah.
I still need to keep our mileage.
I still don't do that.
Goodness. Why? Like you're just
I don't know.
leaving money on the table.
It just seems like a hassle. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw your post where you had how many miles driven to pick up art supplies. Well, think about that as money on the table you left.
Oh, I know.
If you don't do that.
True.
It's not that much of a hassle if you keep up with it.
Yeah.
I've got it down to a science. I have all the places that I go written down on a notepad, and it's usually with my taxes, so I can go to that. And because I put a lot of mileage on. Now you're in town, so it's not as far for you. But for me to go to pick up some art supplies, let's say Michael's, that's like a 61-mile round trip for me.
Oh yeah, for you it makes sense for sure.
So definitely, your mileage. Yeah. So and I forget that people don't have to drive that far.
Yeah,
but Michael's.
Yeah, go ahead.
It just really does make a difference on our taxes. It adds up. Because, that's wear and tear on your vehicle. I only claim the gas on there, and I can't remember what it is a mile right now. I want to say like 28 cents a mile or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good.
I should preface this by saying, I should have. already done it. We are not tax experts. Do not rely on us for tax advice, but this is just how we do it.
Yeah.
So what do you have one that you do? What's the first thing that you usually do on a new year?
Well, one thing I want to do sometime this week is set up my new financial spreadsheet to record all my income and expenses.
Yes.
I want to, because, sometimes with our taxes and stuff, the IRS calls things, categorizes things differently than we do, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
For example, my domain name. Maybe
falls under advertising, I think.
Yeah, I put it under, well, this is a bad example then if they put it under advertising, because I put it under marketing, which is basically similar to advertising,
Yeah,
but
I think marketing falls under that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that's different for me. I can't remember, but, I don't know. I guess just what I'm trying to say is that I categorize some of my expenses differently than the IRS does. So this year, I want to, when I do my taxes, I'm going to record each of the categories that the IRS has and do my categories in my spreadsheet the same as the IRS. That way, at the end of the year or, the beginning of the next year when I do my taxes, I don't have to recategorize everything.
Yeah, that's smart. And I listened to she is a tax expert, actually, and she's an artist, and I can't think of her name right off the bat. But
I know who you're talking about.
Her business is called Sunlight Taxes, I think is what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a podcast, and she gives out information, and I think that you can find a sheet that she is giving away, like if you sign up to get her newsletter or something, then she gives away that very information that you're talking about, like all the categories that the IRS uses. I don't think that it's going to make or break you if you put it in the wrong category, just as long as you don't record it twice. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important, I guess.
I do the same thing as you. I just make a copy, a duplicate of the previous year's financial expenses and income, and then I just go in and delete everything and start new for, on the copy. And I have listings on mine, and I've got my sheet, which is an Excel sheet or a knockoff. I use Open Office. It's free.
Yeah.
And I got mine from a guy that wrote a book, and it was really good. I'm gonna have to get up and find that. So hold on just a second here. Okay. All right, Laura, if you were talking, I had my headphones off, so I didn't hear.
I wasn't.
Okay, I have the book, and it's called Your Art is Your Business, A Guide for the Working Artist. And I'll put this in the show notes, but I think this is such a good book. And the author is Robert Roy Reed, and he has PH.D. CFP behind his name, so I guess he's something important.
Mm-hmm.
But he used to write he was a columnist for the Professional Artist magazine. And, I ran across this book. I don't even know where I did, but he gave away, through the book, you could go on and find a digital file. And I've used his books ever since. And to me, it's been good. Now, I know you have your own, but you're like the Excel spreadsheet queen, and I don't know how to do it. I just struggle. But I want to say that this is, and did I ever give you this book to read? Loan it to you?
I don't think so, but you've mentioned it before.
Yeah, if you're interested, I'll be happy to let you borrow that and read it.
Okay, thanks.
I've got little Post-it notes all over it. I've highlighted in it. It's just been something that I've gone back to here and there a lot. So I found it really useful.
Mhm.
I don't even know if it's available anymore. I guess I should have looked that up first, but I will put that in. Maybe you could find it in a used bookstore or, online used ones. But I found it really interesting and useful. And as a matter of fact, on my website, my personal website, I have a screenshot of what all the categories are that he gave us. That's like the top part with all the, what are those called? Not headings, but categories.
Yeah.
For the spreadsheet. And if you want to get a sneak peek, you can go to my website, which is, I'll put it in the show notes, but it's JamieHaney.com/artist. And that's the /artist part is where I offer a lot of free information just for beginning artists that don't know, where to start as far as the art business is concerned.
Yeah, it's great that you have that resource on your website.
Yeah, I need to look and see how many people look at that. I do have some people that look at it on a regular basis, but
yeah,
I don't have the numbers, but I thought it was good, because I've gotten a lot of free information from people, so I just try to give back.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you'd like to give back too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. You start off with a new, what do we call that?
Financial spreadsheet?
Financials, yeah. So do we have anything more to say about that?
I don't think so. I think we covered that pretty good.
Okay. Well, and then I'd like to say that maybe take stock in what you have going on right now. Like I haven't told you and Vicky this yet, but I just got a new commission, and she's already paid me.
Oh, good.
Paid me, but it was in 2023, so now I'll have to add that to my income for 2023. But that's the first thing on my plate for 2024 because I haven't started it yet. So I take stock of, okay, what do I need to do? And one thing is January for us, I think it might just be Indiana specific, but I'll bet that it's probably all of the states, is, we've got the sales tax looming down our throat. And we have to have that.
Do that too.
Yeah, we have to have that turned in January. And I want to say it's towards the end of January, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I paid mine last year on the 12th.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got it done before the deadline.
And that's only if you're doing yearly, right? Some people who are doing really good have to pay quarterly. And I'll be glad when I can pay quarterly, but I'm not. They don't require for what I'm making to pay quarterly yet.
Yeah. Something else I did at the beginning of the year is start a new. I use Google Docs, but I'm going to call it Word. I started a new Word document where I record all my paintings for the year.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, each page in my Word document is for a separate painting.
Okay, is this for your inventory, or what is it?
It's just to record my paintings. I have them in my FOSO website. That kind of functions as a database, but also I have a Word document where I have the picture of the painting, and then below it I have the title of the painting, the medium, the size, and the date I completed it. And then,
okay, that's great.
When something sells, for example, I go back to my Word document and I find the image in there, and I, put that it sold and to who and for how much.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's kind of hard to keep. And then I also record that information in FOSO for the image in there, too.
Right. Well, I think it's good that you have a backup because, FOSO is your website. And I still have it, too, but I am in the works of getting rid of it. So whenever I get rid of it, I'll lose all the information. So I have to really make sure I go in and copy and paste it somewhere in a Word or Excel like you're talking about. And you will too. You'll need to make sure that you've done that as well.
Yeah.
If you ever decide to leave FOSO.
Yeah, and I'm kind of screwed for last year because I didn't keep up on it like I should have.
Well, you can go back,
I have all the information in FOSO, but not in my Word document. I kind of.
Well, you can go back. Yeah, you can go back and do that as you have time.
Yeah.
Records are so important for us to keep up on, aren't they? We
I
were
know.
just talking about that with Vicky. I mean, she had fallen way behind on hers. Like, what was it? Like July?
Yeah, like 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a stack of papers, receipts.
Yes. Now I'm pretty good. I've been keeping up with it really well for 2023. The one thing I did not keep up with was my odometer readings. But like I said, I have a system for that. So as long as I have a receipt for where I want and on my calendar, I have it written down, like if I took some work to an exhibit, then, I've made it a little harder on myself by not recording that, but I do have ways to go back in and find it. So that is my shortcoming this year, which is not bad because I consider this a win for me because usually every year I do not have all my expenses written down, and I have to go and search for those receipts and, tally everything up like that. And it's stressful, and I usually procrastinate and put it off towards the end of tax, for here in the United States, it's April 15th. So I'm kind of proud of myself for this year.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of the game. I feel like I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. One more thing I want to do at the beginning of this year is work on the marketing copy on my website for my Art of the Month Club. I really want to, that's one of the things I really want to work on this year is promote that and get more people signed up. Because, that's guaranteed income. Unless they cancel, of course. They can cancel anytime. But if they cancel, then I don't have that income anymore. But, hopefully not many people will cancel. And that's pretty much like guaranteed income every month if I can get people signed up.
Right. I always thought about doing that too when I saw you doing it. And this is nothing new. We've gotten ideas from other artists too for this Art of the Month Club. And do you want to explain what it is so people will know what we're talking about?
Sure. Basically, each month I mail to my club members a small painting. Now, last year I was doing, my paintings were on paper and they were 3.5 by 5. And I would tape them down to the, table and paint them and then take the tape off and put them in a little sleeve and then send them in an envelope to my subscribers. And, but this year I've decided to change the format a little bit. I'm going to do 4x6s on panel instead. Because I find it hard to paint on paper. I hate painting on paper.
Oh, really?
And, yes. And
I kind of like it.
I've never liked it. I find these little panels are going to be so much easier to do. And plus they're a little bit bigger. So I think my club members will appreciate that,
Oh,
now
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, your postage is going to be a little more.
Bit. Yeah. Right. That's what I was just going to say. The postage will be a little bit more, but I upped the cost of my membership $2.
Okay,
so
to cover that, yeah.
It's $22 instead of $20.
Yeah.
And I don't think that $2 is
going
to matter too much,
Yeah. Right. Okay, so what else? Let's see, marketing. We're going to be marketing our things. I'm thinking about doing an art class online membership for this year.
You're thinking about doing a membership?
Yeah, well, kind of a loose membership, like not something weekly, but maybe, and because people get busy, and I think that you join these memberships, and this has happened to me. You join these things, no matter what it is, for art business or actually creating something, and it's just overwhelmed. You have too much to do. So I want to keep it just real basic, and hopefully I can reach a lot of people that way because, in the past I've always done art classes like at the library or wherever I can rent a spot. And actually, I just cleaned up my studio last week. We were talking about that. And I'm thinking I wonder if I can get some local people in my studio. I don't know. I'm going to have to, it'll have to be small. 3 people probably max, not including me. So 4 of us, I think. But that might be a new way to reach some people instead of having to lug all my stuff out to the library. Of course, there's pluses and minuses on both of those. If you go to the library, you got to lug all your stuff out. You have a limited amount of time. It's always a big rush, and I'm always scared I'm going to get paint everywhere. You got to clean up.
Right.
But with that, you get more people. Like I had 16 people at one time, which was a nice little, day for me as far as income goes. And so here in my studio, I have to decide, is this worth it? Maybe even a club to where, people could come monthly here. And that way I would know it'd be a dedicated, like you're talking about, like a membership. Right. I don't know. Just some things I'm tossing around in my head. Haven't, nothing has made it past tossing around in my head yet, but
yeah,
it's a start, right? We got to start somewhere.
That's right. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. So we're talking about how we start off the new year, and we're coming up with. These are all just personal ideas that we come up with, and I think that this helps Well, this will help spur on other artists on what they want to do. This is a time for us to really look at the past year, what worked, what didn't. So thinking of that, Lori, did you have any really good positives or really bad fails, do you think?
For 2023?
Yeah.
No, I don't think anything major,
Yeah.
2023 was pretty much a typical year for me, I think.
Uh-huh.
And, what about you?
Well, I think I feel about the same. It was pretty typical. It's a little increasing a little, which is great. I had, my classes are getting a little bit bigger, which is nice income. I made more income on my art this year, so which is great. And that's the direction we want to be going in, right?
Right.
And I don't have my numbers yet. I haven't run the numbers on how many paintings I actually painted this year compared to the one before.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do that. I can't think of anything. But now you did have kind of a big win. You got into that gallery.
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, and you sold a record amount through Inman's gallery, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
I think you had a little better than average.
It was the best year for me yet. Yeah. So I guess in terms of that, yes, it was a win for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess now that you bring that up, I guess it wasn't necessarily a typical year. It was my best year yet. So
that's what we like to say, right?
Yeah, right. And I thought of something else I do at the beginning of the year. I've been trying to do this over the past week or two. I'm trying to plan all my shows. So, for example, Hive Art Space in Pennsylvania. They're in York, Pennsylvania. Sometimes I do shows with them. I've just done a few with them so far. Not too many. But I really like their gallery. I've never been there, but they have fun shows. They have one each month. And the themes are always fun. So, but anyway, they have put out their schedule, about a month ago. And so I have it in my calendar for every month, reminding me that, hey, this show's coming up, get a piece ready for it. And, I have it in there every month. And then, any time I see a show coming up, I put it in my calendar.
No, okay, well, let me stop you there. When you do these shows, there's some that may not know, and I don't really know the way you go about this. So if you're applying to a show, does this mean you have to mail in your art, or do you take a photo of it? Does it cost anything to send the photo in? Tell us what you do.
Well, like with Hive Art Space, for example, I just send an image with all the information about the image and my information to them, and then I find out, maybe a week or two later, if I got into the show or not. So those are juried shows. And that's how some of these galleries operate, not all. And some galleries have both juried and non-juried shows. They might have a mix. But anyways, then once I find out if I'm into the show, and I'm talking about if this is an out-of-town gallery, then I mail my paintings off. And usually if I'm doing an out-of-town show, I will submit small pieces because I don't want to mail something really large, because then if it doesn't sell, they got to send it back. And I mean, even if it's small, they have to send it back if it doesn't sell. But still, it's just so much easier to work with small pieces if I'm doing out-of-town shows.
Now, do they pay to ship it back, or do you pay both ways?
I pay both ways.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a fee to enter the show?
That's usually how all the shows are. You usually pay for the shipping. I think with that gallery, I think there's a $5 hanging fee. So I don't think there's usually you don't usually have to pay to get in. Now, a lot of galleries, of course, this is January 1st, 2023, when you hear this podcast.
2024.
Or 2024, yes. Things may have changed by the time you hear this, or, so keep that in mind because I threw out some numbers. Yeah. But, a lot of galleries, they do have an entry fee. And a lot of times it'll be $20 or $30. Around here that seems like the going rate for shows. So a lot of times you do have to pay an entry fee.
Yeah.
And then you may or may not get in.
Right. Yeah, that kind of stinks. I don't like that and that's why I don't do many of those. I kind of call them vanity shows because, you know, you're not really reaching very many people. And I know you've had success with this, but I've tried it a couple times. I was in the Watercolor Society for a couple of years, and I did not like that business model, how they have that set up. I don't think that is benefiting the artist unless, of course, you sell your piece.
Or if you win an award.
Yeah, well, it depends. Sometimes the rewards are puny, considering if you have to ship back to you and
well, I'm talking about in town, you know.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, yeah, that's
like
right.
If
you
it's an in-town show, and because I did win a couple awards last year, which made it worth my while to enter those shows.
Right.
For sure.
Okay. So you plan to get your shows and exhibits all lined up and on your calendar. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I do the same thing. I kind of schedule out which ones I know that I'm going to be in, and which they're getting less and less. I don't like to do the shows too much anymore. I do have the Christmas at the Cabin. I've been asked to do that again. Yay! Thankfully.
Yeah.
And you know, we never know from year to year if a show's still going to be there. So I'm thankful that I've got that to look forward to for this year. And then you mentioned maybe you'd be willing to do another pop-up.
Yeah, maybe.
So I look at things like that too, and just try to plan how are we going to get our art out there for people to see it.
Yep.
And that's the whole main thing of why we're trying to, you know, make all these plans at the beginning of the year. Oh, I wanted to say too, I think this year I'm going to try to get on the ball and make like a marketing calendar.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea, yeah.
I think that would be a time saver if, you know, you just have to initially, it's like those people that cook everything on Sunday and they meal prep, you know. I think it's kind of like that. You do all this planning and it might take an entire day or longer, you know, to make all these posts and have your marketing calendar ready.
Yeah,
But it pays off because then you don't have to mess with it. Well, you do kind of because you got to answer if someone, you know, you have to reply to comments and things like that. So, but every time I think I'm going to do this, I never do it. I might schedule one or two out and then I just kind of fizzle. But I've always been a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. And I'm like, oh shit, what am I going to post? What am I going to post today? Oh no, hurry up, go downstairs and take a picture of something, you know?
Right.
Or search through my phone. What can I use?
Yeah.
And I hate that actually. I don't like that at all. I would rather be much more organized than that and prepared because I think it just takes, you know, a mental strain on you. And then it feels like we're always working for the man, isn't it? You know, and the man, I mean, like Facebook or Instagram, right? He's jumping through hoops. And because if you don't post, then, you know, they kind of punish you and they don't show your stuff.
Right. I think it's ridiculous.
I do too. But, you know, we got to do it, right? It's just one of those things. It's kind of, it is free unless you're paying for ads. So you just, we just have to kind of grin and bear it, right? Just do what we can. And that's all we can do. Don't push yourself and don't feel bad if you can't post every day or however often that you want. I think consistency is the best way. If you post 2 times a week, just keep posting 2 times a week. Don't post, you know, 10 times one week and then 2 times the next week. I think that's what gets you in trouble too. So consistency is always good.
Something else you said reminded me of something else actually too. When you said marketing plan, I was like, ooh, I haven't done my business plan for this year yet. Which kind of is very similar to the marketing plan, you know.
In
my business plan, I just plan out all, kind of like with my calendar, putting my shows in there and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of do the same thing in my business plan. I just line everything out in a document, like what I'm going to do each month and my goals for the year. Right. I talk about, you know, my mission statement, which changes every once in a while. Just different things like that, you know, just planning for the year, basically. Lining out everything I'm going to be doing and when.
Do you have a mission statement?
I do, and it's not really something I have memorized, But I think I do, yeah. It's something real simple, but...
Yeah, I don't really have one, and it's kind of, I guess it's kind of the same as what your why, or we're
Right.
supposed to have an elevator speech. I never have come up with something good. If someone says, "Oh, what's your art about?" I always go,
Yeah.
I wish that I did have something, but my art evolves anyway, and it changes, and
It does,
I
yeah.
just haven't found anything that really sticks with me that I can, first of all, remember, and second of all, that sounds professional and consistent, and I just haven't found that thing yet. I mean, yours is pretty much, I think yours is good because yours is pretty much always with mental health, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that. That's like a pillar for you. I don't have that. That's not the reason why I paint for mental health, but I like that you have that. I think that makes it easy. I'm sorry. It does.
Yeah.
I think it does.
It does. It
Yeah.
does, yeah. It's like a given. I mean, that's why I paint. That's like the true reason why I paint. Now everything else that comes along with it is just icing on the cake. Like if I sell a painting, then, that's great. But that's not the primary reason I paint. It isn't sell paintings.
Right. Okay. Well, let's say we've talked about starting our new books, taking a photo of the odometer, taking stock on what we've got going, sales tax is looming, a Word document with each painting, marketing, talking about your month of the Painting of the Month Club. That's just marketing for everything that you have going, Get together or plan shows and exhibits and put them on your calendar. Get a marketing calendar started and get your business plan going for 2024 and tweak anything you might need to, like your mission statement. I think we've covered a lot here.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's always a lot more, but I can't really think of anything offhand right now. Can you think of anything else you want to add?
No, I can't think of anything major. I think we've covered pretty much most things.
Okay. Well, I wanted to say that we had a listener and a mentor of mine and a friend, Linda Blondheim. She wrote to us last time, and I know Linda listens to our podcast. So hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
And she wrote such a nice letter to us, and I shared it with you, and I responded back to Linda, and I just wanted to say that she has more information. We're going to talk about that on another podcast. But she had some more information to talk about Open Studios, which was our last one, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Episode?
I think.
No, it was episode 27. I'm sorry.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was Open Studios was episode 27. But we're going to, Linda, if you're listening, we're going to ask you if you will come on the podcast. So I'm just going to put it out there. And maybe we can interview her. She is such a wealth of knowledge. She has been a lifelong artist, and she just so generously shares her information. If you don't know Linda Blondheim, you need to go find her on Facebook and sign up for her newsletter on her website. And I'll put that link in the show notes too. But I want to give a shout out to Linda because she's so sweet. And like I said, she was my mentor, and she mentored me for an entire year, and it was great. I learned so much, and she's just a friend and a really great person all around, and a wonderful artist. She's in Gainesville, Florida. But just wanted to give a shout out to Linda, and heads up, Linda, I'm going to be asking you.
She is very giving of her information.
Yes, she is. Oh, and we have another guest, a friend of yours, right, that we're going to be scheduling for in the future. And
Ruth Anna Evans. Yeah.
Say her name again.
Well, her name is Ruth Anna Evans, and she's an author, and she writes horror books.
Yeah.
And she's had success with that. She's self-published, and she also, this is like I consider it her main gig, not necessarily being an author, but a book cover designer. Like, she's had lots and lots of success at designing book covers, and she has really found her niche.
That's fantastic.
She has authors, mostly self-published authors, who write horror books, and they follow her and buy covers from her for their books. And she's really found her audience online.
That's exciting. I'm excited to talk with her because, you know, I love horror books and horror movies and that genre. I love that paranormal stuff. So I'm excited to talk with her and find out more about her. So we're going to have to work out a time to interview with her and figure out how we can do this, right? I'm not sure how we can do maybe a 3-way call, I guess is how to do it, but logistics, right?
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
So we're planning the podcast too. So if anyone has any of our listeners have any ideas, we are always welcoming your ideas and thoughts and comments. Please contact us at creativetypepodcast@gmail.com. That is always in the show notes. And if you like this podcast and you like listening to it and want to help us spread the word to other artists, please give us a review. Give us 5 stars if it means a lot to you, and a review especially on Apple Podcasts, because it really helps the people find us and brings the podcast up. I haven't checked our rankings. I don't think ever. Not that really matters, but because we enjoy doing it and we want to give back. This is part of our way of giving back and sharing what we know with people. But we sure would appreciate the support. And like I've said before, we have an apron and a tote bag with our logo on it. It's a little tweaked. It says Creative Type Artist on there. And I wanted to make it kind of generalized so everyone could wear it or carry it. And that a little bit would help support the show as well. But mainly we just wanted to say thank you to all our listeners. And I guess this is it, right? We'll just catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
It's a good podcast. Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.